Well, welcome everybody. It's so nice to see you all again. Welcome to our second WRF World Reflexology Foundation workshop. We are so happy to have you here. We look forward to having another successful workshop with you. And we just wish you a fabulous, wonderful day. And we're really looking forward to this. So welcome, welcome. So today's workshop is it's very targeted. It's on arthritis, pain, and inflammation in the shoulder joint. Arthritis in the shoulder joint is generally caused by wear and tear of the cartilage in the shoulder. Symptoms can be pain with activity, stiffness, achiness, swelling, tenderness, all in the shoulder area. Also limited range of motion. Our very knowledgeable volunteer trainers are going to be showing you today some different and very specific reflexology techniques that will be used on the hands, the feet, and the outer ears to help with this issue, this specific issue. However, now it is my pleasure to introduce you to our wonderful World Reflexology Foundation. We are a group of very highly trained reflexology leaders, educators, practitioners who have been inspired by our own personal experience with reflexology, our love and our passion for reflexology. Our mission is very simple. It is to help people experience better health through the wonderful world of reflexology. Our mission is to make it possible for everyone in the world, which is very cool today because we're reaching out pretty far away in the world. So that's nice to have those of you who are definitely in other parts with us. But it's our mission to make it possible for everyone to receive the wonderful benefits of reflexology to help yourself continue to have a healthy, beautiful life. Most of our board members are also WRF volunteer trainers. Gives me great pleasure now to introduce you to our board, as well as one of our WRF volunteer trainers. Please give me a little wave, hello, when I mention your name. Bill Floco, President and Founder of WRF. Wonderful. Stephanie Sabuchian, Vice President. Sarah Shamidis, Recording Secretary. Mita Wise, Director. Kathy Reynolds, Corresponding Secretary. Paul Harvey, our lovely behind the scenes man, who's always here with us in heart and soul. And myself, Tina Meyer, I'm the treasurer. Nice to meet y'all. We also have today one of our very own volunteer trainers, Sage Grabler. So happy to have you with us. Thank you so much for being here. And then also for all of those, as I said, behind the scenes, our spouses, I can vouch for myself how much he helps me. Our spouses, our partners, our friends and family, everyone who helps to support us behind us here, that helps the foundation to be so successful. We thank you all so very much. Now, without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our fearless leader, our president, the one and only Bill Floco. Thank you, Bill, for letting us know what our foundation is all about, the what we do, how we do it, and the why we do it.
Thank you, Tina. For those of you not familiar with the World Reflexology Foundation, March of 2007, some reflexologists got together, about 9 of us, with the main idea of talking about how could we see the benefits that we had experienced through our helping people. How could we get that to more and more people? How could we get it to people who never studied reflexology as a profession, but people who would love to use it for themselves, their families, and friends? Within a year, we had established what now is known as the World Reflexology Foundation. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, and our mission, as has been suggested already, is to improve health worldwide. But how? By empowering people like you, me, our friends and families, to use reflexology on ourselves, self-help and on our sweethearts and children, grandchildren, neighbors, etc. So for now, for those of us who don't know what reflexology is, let's go back to Tina, and Tina, take it away.
Thank you, Bill. That was awesome. So many of you are probably familiar already with reflexology, but for those of you who are not, or maybe just need a little refresher course, I'm just going to go over it very briefly. And just keep in mind that you can find more about reflexology on our webpage. And then you can also contact the person who invited you here today, and they'll be able to explain to you more in detail as to how reflexology works and all of that, or come and take a class. So with that, reflexology is based on the concept that there are small little maps, these little micro maps that are of the human body that are found on the hands, the feet, and the outer ears. We use special touch techniques, which you're going to get familiar with today as our volunteer trainers guide you along. They're usually called finger rolls or thumb rolls. So those are touch techniques. And then these specific touch techniques are applied to different areas on the feet, the hands, and the outer ears. They will bring balance to our body. They help with circulation. And they just basically bring our whole body into a holistic and a great homeostasis. Brings us into homeostasis. Reflexology is also used to help break down blockages that may have collected and formed around our nerve endings, which may cause imbalances throughout our body. And through reflexology, we work to help clear natural pathways, helping to bring the body back into balance, and as I said, into the natural homeostasis. So it's said that reflexology works mostly through our nervous system. Now let's take a look at these little reflexology maps and what they look like on our feet, our hands, and our ears. The feet and the hands are very similar, so I'm going to do those together. So I have my handy dandy little plastic foot here. Imagine if we just shrink the body down, basically superimpose it on the foot or on the hand. We have a complete map of the body from top to bottom, sides, front, and back. Same thing with the hands, all over the hands, sides, so forth. Then we take it even further from the base of the toes, the base of the fingers, all the way up the toes and the fingers. That represents everything that has to do with the base of the neck, all the way up to the top of the head, and everything in between. Eyes, nose, mouth, ears, brain, everything in there. Then we have the ball pad of the foot, the ball pad of the hand. This represents all of the reflexology points that has to do with the chest. Now on the soft sole of the foot, the soft part of the hand, that represents everything from the upper and mid abdomen. And then the heel of the foot, and this lower portion of the hand, that represents everything from the lower abdominal and pelvic region reflexes. Now moving to the inner edge of the foot and the inner edge of the hand, that would be the great toe side, big toe side, or the thumb side of the hand. Those are all where you're going to be finding all of the spinal reflexes. And then the outer side, this little toe side of the foot, the little finger here, that is where you're going to be finding the reflex points for the legs and the hand, the legs and the arms. Now the ear, it's same, but different. Same concept, we shrink the body down, we superimpose it on the ear, but we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna turn it upside down, and it's going to be in the shape of a human embryo. Now the earlobe, this is where you're going to find all of the head, brain, mouth, eyes, ears, here on the earlobe area. The spinal reflexes are here on the ridges, which refer to the middle, inner, and narrow ridge. So that's going to be found on this ridge right in through here. the leg and arm reflexes. For the leg reflexes, you're going to go up just a little further on that ridge. That's going to be the leg reflexes. And down this long valley here is where you're going to be finding the arm reflexes. And then most of the inner organs, they're going to be found in these valleys here of the ear, the upper and the lower valleys. So as I said, that's just a small, brief little explanation of reflexology. We're going to get into a little bit more detail as how we can apply those touch techniques to help us with that shoulder pain and inflammation, and be able to help you out a little bit more with that. We encourage you absolutely to follow along with us. It's a lot of fun. You can ask questions at the very end. We're going to have a question and answer. So please save your questions until the end. And also, just to let you know and to ease your mind, we're going to have our very own Sarah. She's going to give you a complete review at the end of all of this. So if you missed something the first time around, Sarah's going to be able to get you on the second time around with her whole review. So that's going to be towards the end of the workshop. So first up, now we get to the fun stuff. First up, we're going to have Sage, who's going to start us off just getting us nice and relaxed, nice and cozy. Not only that, it's going to get our bodies nice and relaxed and opened up. So as we come along with the feet, hand, and ears, that's going to help us. It opens our bodies up to where it's going to be able to be more received with the reflexology. So Sage, go ahead and show us what you got for relaxation.
Thank you, Tina. Hi, everybody. So great you could all make it to join us here on Saturday afternoon. So to begin, I'm going to start with the plastic ear to give you a demonstration of a couple wonderful relaxation techniques on the ear. Now, Tina was kind enough to point out the spinal reflex on the ear. Now, I'm going to go and show you where the spinal cord reflex on the ear is, and that is represented on this outer ridge of the ear down to the base of it, just as it begins to connect to the earlobe. So the technique that we're going to use is we're going to use our thumb and our index finger. So I'm going to show you here. So I'm going to place my thumb back behind the ear just to give it support. And then I'm going to take my index finger and just kind of rest it on this outer ridge, and the index finger is going to be pointing in towards this triangular valley here. Now, this is just very gentle pressure, and then we're going to slowly draw the index finger away as we begin to unfold this outer ridge. And we're just going to slowly work our way down the ear. And if you like, you can try this along with me as I demonstrate on the practice ear, and then I'll show you again on my own ear. Now, as I start to move down the ear, the position of my thumb in the back is going to shift down along with the index finger. So nice and slow, easy strokes. I see a few people joining us in. That's great. And then now that I'm down to almost the base of that outer ridge, connecting to the earlobe, I'm going to stop there. And now I'm going to demonstrate on my ear. And once again, feel free to join along with me. So I'm going to once again place my thumb back behind my ear, wrap the index finger around in the front. Yes, everybody looks great. And then slowly unfolding that outer ridge with my index finger, pulling away from the ear, and then coming back and repeating. Nice and slow. Everybody looks great. Wonderful. So now we get to do it on both of our ears. So I often find it helpful to rest my elbows either on the table in front of me, or if I'm sitting up with my knees up on a stool or something, I can rest my elbows on my knees. The important thing is to do what's going to be most comfortable for you. So then from there, once I get my elbows in place, you can then take your thumbs back behind your ear and then position your index fingers like we did before, and then slowly begin to unfold that outer ridge. Yes, beautiful. Nice and easy strokes all the way down that outer ridge until we get to the base of it just before the earlobe. I hope you found that relaxing, and you can repeat that technique as often as you like. The next technique for relaxation on the ear is where the 0 point is. And we find that from going from this outer ridge on the ear and drawing our finger all the way across towards the center of the ear. And then you'll find there's this little tiny notch. That is where the 0 point is represented. Now, what is the 0 point? The 0 point is one of 5 major master points on the ears with different functions. The beauty of the 0 point is it helps to create overall balance, striving for that homeostasis in our system, and thus creating relaxation. So let's go ahead and do it together. We're going to trace the outside of our ear. Bring it all towards the root to the center of the ear until you find that little notch. Yes, looks like everybody's finding that. Very good. And then we just kind of hold that point. Now, if you'd like to go ahead and do both ears, I encourage you to do the same thing on the other ear. And once again, relaxing the shoulders, resting your elbows either close to your body, on your knees, or on a table. And then just very gently hold this point in your ears, on the outer ear. And if you like, you can close your eyes and just focus on your breath in and out. That's lovely, everybody. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and remove your fingers from your ears. Now, people often ask, well, how long do I do this for? Well, that's the beauty of this particular point. You can hold it for 3 to 5 minutes, maybe less, maybe more, depending on what's ever's best for you. And this can be done several times throughout the day. All right, I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sage. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm feeling a lot more relaxed now. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Kathy, who's going to be demonstrating on the ears again, and she's going to be working with the shoulder joint pain and inflammation. So thank you, Kathy.
Thanks, Tina. All right. Hi, everybody. So Sage showed us how to find 0 point right in the middle of the ear here where this notch is. And I'm going to start with that point to locate the shoulder reflex. So from 0 point, you just go away from the face, back away from the face, over this prominent ridge into this valley, and this is where you'll find the shoulder reflex. The hold that we're going to use is going to be similar to what Sage showed us with the similar. We're going to have our thumb in the back, and we're going to have our index finger in the front. We're basically going to be using a tip to tip hold. If you can see what I'm doing, index finger and thumb. So again, find 0 point, go back away from the face, over that ridge into the valley, and that is where you will find the shoulder reflex. So to show you on my own ear, let's see. So you find 0 point, and then you go back away from the face, over that ridge, thumb behind, index finger on top, tip to tip in that valley. And again, you can find it on the other ear, tip to tip, shoulder reflex. Remember to relax your neck and shoulders. Put your elbows on something and just hold. Okay. One more point I'd like to show you on the ears is it's actually the adrenal reflex. The adrenals help they release like anti-inflammatory hormones. So it's a good point to work whenever you're dealing with any kind of inflammation in the body. So to find that, it's going to be closest to your face. You'll find a little flap right here, a piece of skin, face flap. And this is where you're going to find the adrenal reflex. And again, we're going to use tip to tip, index finger and thumb, and find that flap. And now when you're working on your own ears, you might want to do it this way, or you might want to do it this way. I'm going to show with the thumbs on the inside and the index finger on top, and see if that feels comfortable. Thumb on the inside of that little flap, index finger on top, tip to tip. You're on the adrenal reflex. This is great anytime you're dealing with inflammation, and it feels good. And of course, we could hold this much longer than we're doing right now. All right, so that's the shoulder reflex and the adrenal reflex on the ears. All right, back to you, Tina.
Thank you, Kathy. That was fabulous. Thank you so much. It's very helpful. Now, Sage, we're back to you. You did such a fabulous job on the ears. We're going to have you show us these reflex points now on the feet. Thank you so much, Sage.
Thank you, Tina. Okay, here we go. So the shoulder joint reflex on the foot, it's basically underneath on the ball of the foot, underneath the little toe. It crosses over a little bit towards that fourth toe. It also wraps around to the side underneath the little toe. And it also comes across the front of the foot underneath the little toe and into this groove between the fourth and the fifth toe. Now, before we get started, I'd like to just show you or demonstrate for those who aren't familiar with it, the thumb roll, or it can be used as the finger roll. So on top of this plastic foot, hopefully you all can see. Is that good? Raise your hand if you can see the foot. Okay, yay. Okay, so I'm going to press gently into this plastic foot. And you notice that the first digit here of my thumb kind of moves up and down. Well, I'm going to press in and draw that thumb back towards my hand, and then I'm going to roll it forward or inch it forward, and then repeat, sliding back towards my hand, and then moving forward, and then back again towards my hand. Now that is basically the thumb roll, also referred to as the inchworm roll. And that can also be done using your index finger. Same concept, pressing in, bending that lower digit, and then walking the finger forward, rolling it forward. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate this on the foot. So using my thumb, I'm going to go up the side, just below where that pad is on the side, inching my way up. Okay. Now, just for demonstration purposes with this foot, I'm going to use my index finger for underneath on the ball, working my way across. Can everybody see that? Yeah, okay. And then for the front, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to use both because this is kind of a big foot here. I'm going to use my index finger and my middle finger and just kind of walk my way across. There you go. And then a wonderful little dessert on here is to work this groove. So I'm going to have my index finger about an inch below where the two toes are. I'm going to press in slightly, and then we're going to draw the fingers up the groove towards the toes, and then slowly glide back down. Now, if for any reason this is incredibly sensitive for you, it's perfectly fine just to hold that point area. You'll still receive the benefits from this. Additionally, once I've worked the center, I like to go back and then kind of direct my fingers towards each of the toes. So the fifth toe, the little toe, and then I'll come over and do the other side. So I'm going to turn this a little bit so you can see. I'm pressing in, I'm moving up towards the toe, and then drawing back down. And then I'll repeat on the other side here, drawing up and back down. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate on my own foot. Feel free to practice along with me. If by chance that working on your foot is a little challenging, don't worry about it because you still have the benefit from working on your ears and your hands. So let me get this in position. Make sure you can see my foot. Okay, there we go. Now I've got it up on my, my other thigh. If this is too high for you, you can always rest it a little bit lower, maybe on a cushion or a stool, whatever will be most beneficial for you. Or some people prefer to work with their foot resting on the chair that they're sitting on. For me, that's a little challenging, so I'm going to use resting it on top of my other, just above my knee. So to get to the bottom of the foot, I'm going to, using the thumb technique, roll my thumb up towards, on that ball, up towards that little toe. Yeah. And then work back towards the ball, towards the little toe again. Working my way across, up towards that toe, towards the fourth toe. I'm going to come across using my index finger on the outside edge, just below that little toe. There we go. And then I'm going to move towards the front. And then Finger roll across underneath that fifth toe. And then last but not least, the groove in between the little toe and the fourth toe. Positioning my index and my middle finger about an inch below, drawing up towards in between the center of them, holding and drawing back down. I'll repeat again, repositioning so it's more of a fingertip type of technique towards the little toe, drawing up and down. And then pointing towards the fourth toe, drawing up and down again. And once again, if just holding the point is best for you, feel free to do that. All right. That's it that I have for you today. So thank you very much. I'll pass it back to Tina.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sage. That was a wonderful explanation and way that you handled that. That was very explanatory. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Mita, who's going to be showing you these same techniques, but on our hands, and that's going to help round everything out. So Mita, thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. Thank goodness we have hands, right? Because not everybody can reach their feet, or, perhaps they have some reason why they can't reach their feet. So luckily we have our hands and they're a lot easier, and you can work on them wherever you are. Perhaps you're, in a waiting room somewhere and you can work on your hands and people may not even know it, So, so here I'm going to show you the shoulder joint points and the shoulder points on the reflex points on the hand, and they're very similar to those on the feet. The ear points are a little different, but the hand and the feet points are very similar. Okay, so we're going to go here underneath. I'm going to see if I can come right up underneath on the pad here, and we can go upwards, or we can go across, or we can even go diagonally. So I'm going to show you upwards and very slowly, like a little inchworm with the thumb. And I'm going to also turn it around so you can see this way. See how I'm doing, inching up like that? And I'm going to move a little bit down further. And remember in our demonstrations here that we're going a little faster probably than we might do, working on someone and working on yourself. You're just going to go very slowly. And also at the bottom here, the bottom of the finger here, right at that joint there. Okay, and then again, you're going to work on the side, just like Sage did. And I can go around this way for that, show you here, and I'm going to use my thumb. And remember, you can also use your finger. If you prefer, you can put your hand down like this, and you can use your finger going across there, right? Do a little finger roll. I don't know if you can see that very well, but see? And all the while, when I'm doing my thumb, I'm supporting it with my hand at the back here. So I've got the hand at the back supporting the hand. I've actually got my elbows on the table, and then I'm doing that roll. Okay. And, you can put your elbows on the table when you're doing the other points too, the ear points to rest, the hand points, just so that you're really sort of resting and not tense while you're doing this, right? So then I also, just like Sage did on the feet, I'm going to go round here into this first groove here, and I'm going to gently pull it up. Let's see if we can go this way. Gently pull it up and down. I'm going to do that with 2 or 3 fingers, depends how big your fingers are. Mine are pretty small. So good. Pull it up, hold gently, and all the way down. Good. And you can also, again, you could also do it a little bit with your finger if you want. And just note that if you have any tender points, like let's say I'm going up here and I have a tender point. Oh, it's tender. You can stop and you can hold it and just close your eyes and just sort of allow that sort of sit there for a little while with it and allow it to release a little bit. You can also do little circles with your thumb or your finger to help it release if it's a little tight or a little tender. Okay, you can do some little circles. And so that's that whole area there, the shoulder and the shoulder joint, or just the same as the feet, okay? But for some of you, it might be a lot easier to do on the hands. And like I said, you can do it wherever you are. And I think that's about it. Thanks, Tina.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mita. That was perfect. Thank you, Mita. Thank you, Sage. Thank you, Kathy, for giving us such a wonderful demonstration on how to use these reflexology points on our feet, our hands, and our ears. And it was great seeing you guys. You were all right in there just working on yourself. So that was some fun and nice to see. So thank you, guys. Now, once again, it gives me great pleasure to throw it back to our fearless leader, Mr. Bill Floco. He is going to sit here and tell you a little bit more information about the World Reflexology Foundation and also a little bit more about reflexology. So Bill, take it away.
Now, as it was mentioned by each trainer, that as we work on the feet, there could be tenderness, or the hands or the ears, it could be tenderness, and toxins could be released. So it's often suggested that we drink a little extra water after doing reflexology on ourselves to help flush out the toxins. And also, please remember, if you have serious health issues, reflexology is powerful, but it's still not a substitute for being in touch with your primary healthcare provider. Now, several ways that you can be supportive of us. One is to go to our website, look around. There's a phenomenal amount of information there. Learn a lot about reflexology. And there's an opportunity, if you haven't done so already, to sign up with our newsletters. They're informative and they tell you about upcoming workshops and projects that we're working on. And it's for free. So if you haven't done so already, please sign up for our newsletters. And it'll let you know about the next workshops coming up. As mentioned, again, none of us are paid. We're a nonprofit foundation. We very much would appreciate your donations. On the website, there are any number of ways that are very comfortable that you could do so. So with that, we thank you. And Tina, it's back to you.
Oh, Bill, it's always so good to hear from you. Thank you so much for your words of wisdom. We so appreciate that. So now, as promised, we have our very own Sarah, who's going to give you an overview of everything that we just learned, because we know that there was so much. So now we get a nice little review. So Sarah, looking forward to it.
Hi, everyone. Thank you again for participating in our workshop. We're really happy you're here. And even just doing the reflexology, although it's specific on this particular workshop for the shoulder joint inflammation, when you do any reflexology, it's excellent for oxygenation and for circulation. So even practicing today is really good for you. So yay, so thank you for joining. I'm going to quickly start with the relaxation technique that we were doing to just get us into a relaxing mode. Thank you, Sage, for showing us this. Now I see I'm on a blurred screen, so it's acting a little strange. So no, it's good? Okay. Remember, we're going to work the spinal cord reflex on the outer portion of the ear. Now, again, what we're wanting to do is support the back of the ear with the thumb and the front of the ear with the index finger, and we just slowly unfurl, gently and slowly. I won't take too much time. However, I want to remind you of the points to work. You can do this for a much longer time. And again, that's the spinal reflex point unfurling on the outer portion of the ear. Beautiful. Then from there, we moved into 0 point. 0 point, 0 point, again, when you move up the ear for the spinal cord reflex around your face, and you go just that in between the upper and lower valleys to that cartilage and that little divot. I have a little green dot there. And again, you just hold 0 point for as little or as long as you'd like. So wonderful, wonderful point to work just to help with the solar plexus and just bring deep relaxation. So those are great points for relaxation, shoulder hurting or not. Good to remember. Okay, we're going to move on to the ear quickly about the actual point to work for your shoulder joint. Again, Kathy pointed out that we could start at that 0 point between the upper and lower valleys, and we just gently move outward, 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 right there. Ding, ding, ding. We're going to hold that point tip to tip, and we're going to just take nice deep breaths. Again, you can work one ear if it corresponds with that shoulder, or both ears, because why not? You never know. One shoulder might be compensating for the other. So working both ears is a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. Again, holding it as long as you need. We're just doing it, just showing you for clarity right now. Beautiful. From there, we're going to do adrenal point, another wonderful point. Let's go up again over that reflex of the spinal cord and down the face to what we call the face flap. I have a little yellow pin there. We're going to take our finger. I use my index. What do? I use my index finger on the outside and my thumb supporting on the inside of that face flap. And it's just a gentle hold. Again, the adrenals are a very powerful hormonal gland. So it's a really great place to work for any inflammation anywhere on your body, as Kathy so lovingly explained to us. So that's a wonderful point too, that adrenal reflex point. And again, both ears. Wonderful. Now we're going to move on to our handy dandy foot. Sage was lovely again to show us the wonderful places to work. My foot's a little dirty. It went outside. Just kidding. Okay. So, and it's not a real foot, although it could look like one. No. So remember, what we wanted to do was work the outside of the foot. We wanted to work the little toe area from the fourth toe, the ball and pad, up to the joint. And we want to just gently work across in that area. We learned the roll, right? We learned that little inchworm, which was wonderful. But you can also just hold and circle, hold and circle, hold and circle. Now we've worked the plantar. We're gonna work around the side, that little area right on the side of the little toe. And then we're gonna move again to the front. And we're just gonna inch across to that groove. Very tender for me. So God, I'm not using my real foot. As we're inching across here, we just wanna take our index and second finger and gently place them in and go in, up, and down. And filling in there. Give it a little wiggle. That is the foot. The same works for the hand, as Mita wonderfully demonstrated. And she demonstrated that you could also work up and down the little finger. You could work across that little finger to the fourth finger on the palm, on the side with your thumb or your index finger. You can work all the way around to the top of your hand. And again, we find that groove and we just gently go in and down. Again, tender for me, not sure why. So there's a lot of techniques you can use. You don't have to get it, quote, authentic. You get it how it works for you. Thumb roll, finger roll, circling. We were instructed in all different techniques today. Do what's right for you. So again, just like the foot, around this little finger. So hopefully that helps you remember. Just a quick recap. And so again, so excited to have you here. Thank you. Back to you, Tina.
Thank you, Sarah. That was beautiful. Very informative, really kind of rounded everything out, helped us with some more ideas and techniques. So thank you. Stephanie is going to go ahead and screen share, show you some information on the website. And then the next slide, this slide here has all of our information, our website, our email, our phone number. So again, please, and there you go, you have it there also. So please, please, please reach out to us if you've got any questions. Speaking of reaching out to us, please let us know what you would love to see for one of our future workshops. So whatever you got, just throw it out there to us and we'd be more than happy to put that in. We're already good for this year, but we need ideas for next year. So throw us your ideas and we'll see what we can do. All righty then. As a couple of our volunteer trainers had mentioned, because we're on a time, we've got an hour here that we're already coming up on. Just remember that you can hold these points for as long as feels comfortable. So, anywhere from a minute to 2 to 5 to 10 to 20, go for 30 if it feels good. So just remember that you can take these stroke or these techniques a lot slower, and also you can hold them for a lot longer. All right, I think that's it, you guys. We did really good. You guys did really good. We are so happy again to have you here. We thank you from our hearts to our souls. We thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Be kind, be beautiful, be yourself. Mwah. All the best to you all. Stay safe and healthy.